Hey YouTube, West Texas Prepper. Came out this morning to a flat tire. I need to get new tires on my truck anyway, so not a big deal, but figured great opportunity to make a video as far as being prepared for something like this. You can see I broke out the air compressor. I'm not at my shop, so my good air compressor, where I could have gone ahead and had this thing aired up and working on it already, was at my other shop, but this is one I keep in my truck. It's just a corded little Campbell Hausfield car compressor put in there. It's been running probably about 5 minutes now, and this was all the way on the ground flat, so I've got a pretty good leak in it somewhere. So I'm getting this aired up right now. Turn it off so you could hear, but this is a good kit to have. This is almost a professional plug kit. Comes with plugs, got your rasp and then your plug inserter, and I use a drill sometimes depending on where it is to get in there and really get it cleaned out well. I've got a grease pencil that I use to mark. Here what I've got is a little soap on a rag that I'll find out once I get it aired up, find out where the leak is. I'm going to try to fix this where I don't have to take it off. I don't have my good jack here. I'm going to see if I can get to it and get it fixed here. If not, I'll go over to my shop and we'll jack it up, get it pulled off real quick and fix it that way. Sometimes you can get them fixed without ever having to pull them off the car. You know, if you can get into an area in here where you've got enough room, I'll have to roll it back and see. I'm about to clean off the tire, and I wanted to get a shot of that before I got it all wet and messy. But I'm about to clean off the tire and find out where the leak is. But I'm going to finish airing it up and we'll see where we're at, and we'll get back to you in just a minute. Hey YouTube, West Texas Prepper back. As you can see, I have found the leak. What you can do here, I'll just rinse that off, but this is what the soap trick does for you. If you've never done that before, you can just take a rag with some soap on it and it will show you where your leak is. It just bubbles up and does that. And then once you get that done, you can sort of go in with your finger and really find out where it is. And I've got a nail, you can sort of feel a nail in there, so I'm probably gonna have to go over to my shop and pull this off so I can get that dug out of there and get it fixed this morning. So I'm gonna finish airing this up and we'll go over to the shop and we'll get this pulled here in a minute. All right, quick note, this is where the grease pencil comes in handy. Now if I was going to be able to do this here, I probably still would have marked it just so I know where it is, but since I'm going to go have to pull it so I can get in there and actually dig out whatever's there, I put a mark here on the sidewall indicating where that is. I don't have less than a mile to drive. Pretty good sized bubble coming out of there, and you can also have fun changing your tire or patching it up. But I don't have very far to drive, but I don't want to mark it here on the flat surface if you've got to drive, for the fact that it'll wear off. So I just mark it here on the side, and I'll take my rag with me, a little soap on it, and we'll know where it is and we'll get it fixed. So we'll get back to you here in just a second. All right, YouTube, West Texas Prepper back. We're over here at the shop. You can see, zoom in on that, just on the short drive over, how that faded a little bit on the mark. What I've done now is I've pulled the hub off, pulled the four of the lug nuts off. These two are loose, and I'm getting ready to jack it up here and get this pulled off so we can start fixing it. But this is part of my car kit. I keep a 4-way in there. You know, the factory stuff that comes with your car is good. You know, they design it I guess for the fact that you're going to have to change some flats every once in a while. But, you know, I just don't like digging mine out from behind the seat and getting everything unwrapped and having to dig everything out. And sometimes it's a little inconvenient to do that. And, you know, the bottle jacks, they take a while to get done. But what I like to do, since most of the time I'm in town, is that I keep a 4-way in my truck. Keep just an old, you know, screwdriver that I can pop the hub off, put all my lug nuts in there so you don't lose them, and then I keep my patch kit in there too. And these are just plugs that you put in. I'll show you how to do that here in just a minute. And keep that in my truck. And then of course, you know, being here at the shop, I've got my compressor with my good tire inflator that I really like. But that's where we're at right now. We're getting ready to jack this up and get it off the ground. I've already got the lug nuts loosened, so this should come off pretty quick. Yes, I do have the e-brake set and the opposite wheel chocked. So we'll get this up and off the ground there, and we'll get to it here in just a minute. All right, YouTube, you can see right here, got the head of a nail that's worn off a little bit. I've checked the rest of the tire, and I'll go over it one more time once I get this patched and get it aired back up. But what I'll do is I'll go in here and use these needle nose pliers and go in and get that pulled out, and then I'll show you how I get the rest of that fixed up. All right, YouTube, this maybe get a little hard to focus. That's a pretty good sized nail that was in there, a piece of wire, whatever it is. But that's probably about an inch and a quarter long, fairly rusted, so that's been laying around somewhere a while. With my pool cleaning business, I do drive around in alleys quite a bit, so I could have picked it up there, you know, just out on the street. But you have to be aware of those things. But we were able to get that out, get that taken care of. All right, so here's what's going on. You have with this kit, you have an awl, and what this does, it goes in and roughs up the surface to get that going. Now these are can be a little hard to use excuse me, when you're first getting started getting these in here. So when I'm at home and I'm able to do this by myself, what I do is actually chuck up a drill bit that's a little bit smaller than this and go down there, and because you've got to get through all those steel belts and stuff, and that's what this is supposed to do anyway. So I use a drill bit and a drill and go in and clean that out a little bit better. Then I'll go in and finish it up with this and do that. And some people have seen me do this before, and it's a little it goes against the grain taking a drill and going into your tire with it. But in all the years I've been doing this, my experience is it really does a great job of getting these out, and I've never had to go back and redo a plug because it gets that cleaned out, gets the wires out of the way, and really does a good job of sealing that up. So I'm going to get that done right now, and then we'll show you how to do the plug. All right, I'm going to see if I can shoot a little video with that. You can see the hole, you can hear the air still coming out of it. And this is why, you know, you want to get these things aired up. And what it does by having them aired up, it actually helps clean that hole out as the air is coming out. But I just take my drill and insert it in like that. Just go in there with it. And then we'll come over with this tool here, and it's a little dirty, but you can see I probably need to get a new one. This one's getting a little worn out, but it has some teeth in there. And then I'll go in and you can insert this, and that's why it's a little tougher. And it goes in there and roughs it up as well. I've got to put some more air in here real quick, but that's what that does. And we'll show you how to insert the plug. All right, YouTube, these are safety seals, and this box contains 60, and I don't know how many. I don't know how many years ago I bought this, but this is probably a lifetime supply buying this. And I'll put some links where I bought this. I bought this through a company called Gimpler's, and they're just a general supply, farm, tractor, shop type supply. And I'll put a link down there in there. They've got some good stuff in there. You know, some of it's junk, some of it's good stuff, and this is one of the things that I found in there that was real good. I hated buying the kits at your AutoZones or Advanced Autos or Pep Boys or wherever you do your local shopping, just because I didn't feel like the kits were that good. The tools in them were not as good a quality, etc. And so when I found these, it was worth it. You know, I don't know what it costs in your area to go in and patch or to plug a tire. Some places won't even do it for the safety factor. And so I look at it, if I can do it myself and save myself $30, $40, or like on this set of tires, I'll get a new set of tires probably towards the end of the season before I start back to school, as things wind down, they would probably say, well, we can't plug that because you're getting into the indicator bar, or there's too much wear on it for us to do that, so we're going to have to sell you a $100 tire. And so I just don't want to do that. This is a work truck for the time being, and so I would rather go in and fix it myself and keep things up and running. So, but what it is, it's just they're a real sticky, it's a, I'm trying to think, it's a self-vulcanizing tubeless tire repair. And so this stuff has a real tacky feel to it, and they come sealed in these strips, and you just pull them off like that. And they are, and you can see they are rather tacky. And then you've got this device here that you have to work this into. Now this is where your needle nose pliers come in, and these stay in my truck as well. I don't know if you can see this. This is actually split up here at the top, if I can get that in focused. And what that allows you to do is, as you insert this in the eyelet like a big needle, when you pull this out of the tire, then this slides out and allows the seal to get moved out. But what you do is you just take this, and it's a little difficult to get worked in there, but once you get a little bit of it through like that, you can go in here and grab it with your needle nose and pull it through. And you want to pull it through where you've got roughly an even amount on each side. Now there are a couple of different ways you can do this. I've gone in and aired up my tire, and we'll see if we can zoom in here. I've gone in and aired up my tire, and what I typically do once I get everything cleaned out, and of course, you saw me use the drill on it, but if you're on the side of the road, you're not going to have that. What I do is I go ahead and leave my T-handle in there, and that just gives me a good indication on where I'm going to do my plugging. Now with this kit that they give you a tube of solvent, and it'll do about 2 tires. And so instead of trying to buy the new solvent, what I do is use a PVC glue just from my pool cleaning. And I did that just trying it out one day, and it works great. It's just a solvent that helps go in and seal everything up well. And you don't have to use a lot. Some people are going to say, well, hey, that's not safe to do. Hey, it works. I'll just tell you, from all the years that I've been doing this, it's one of those things that works. And so I just use a little PVC pipe glue. This is a wet and dry. You can use it on wet stuff, and it's just what I had at the time. So it's one of those things, do what you can with what you have where you're at, and it doesn't take a lot. If I can even get this open this morning. It's been a while since I've used it, so it tends to gunk up a little bit. Alright, so I've got that open, and we'll see if we can zoom in. I forgot I had my little tripod in the camera, so let's get you mounted up on my toolbox this morning. There we go. So, got this in your plug. I've got it aired up. Excuse me. I don't have it fully aired up, but I've got it aired up enough where there's going to be some air pressure coming out of it, so we're not getting a bunch of junk in the tire. So what I'll do is sort of hard to do this, is I'll put just a little bit of glue on there. I don't even know if you can see that, but just enough to sort of wet it down, and what it does, it helps it slide in there a little bit easier. Then you go in and pull your handle out, insert that, and sometimes you have to twist a little bit. And once you get it going, sometimes you really got to get on it. This is a smaller hole. There we go. You hear that sort of popped in there. And so you want to leave about a quarter, half-inch out. They tell you to trim it up. I'll go in and use some side cutters and go in and cut that up. But then once you get that pulled in, you just pull that out and you've got your plug. And you got to be careful. Oh, your tire, look at that. That's how sticky those are. It just rolled over. Oops, sorry about that. Roll over twig and pick that up. But you can see, get a little angle on that, leave a little bit of that sticking up. And I'll just go in with some side cutters and cut that off. And that's it, and that's how you plug it, and then you just put everything back together like you normally do. We'll finish airing it up and go from there. But I'll put some links down there in the bottom where I picked that stuff up, maybe some item numbers. I've got to order some stuff from them anyway and do that. But that's a little tire repair for you this morning. Good stuff to have in your preps. One of those things that I think some people can tend to overlook sometimes, you know, especially if they're thinking about bugging out. You know, hey, how are you going to fix your tires? Tire shops aren't going to be open, etc. This is one of those ways you can go in and get that done. You know, this took me a little bit longer than normal this morning because I am videoing it. I'm on about 45 minutes now by the time I discovered my flat to getting ready to put the tire back on. But typically when I'm doing this, not filming it, I can get this done in about 10 minutes or less. I can get it done less if I don't have to pull the tire off the truck. If I've got a compressor, not the one that I keep in my truck, you know, it takes even shorter, but using the compressor, it does take about 5-7 minutes to get it aired up. And by that time, you can get everything buttoned up and put up while it's still airing up and going from there. But just wanted to bring you that this morning. YouTube is one of those moments of opportunity, and we'll do that. But good talking to you. Good to be back on here. West Texas Prepper. Do what you can with what you have, where you're at.